So this book is by, again, David Walliams, and it's called The Queen's Orangutan. And the book was made as part of money to be raised for comic relief. And David Walliams agreed to have over half of the money that people were spending on the book to be donated to that charity. And again, it uses the illustrations by Tony Ross. So if we flip it over onto the back and we have a look at the blurb, we've got, I'm just trying to hold it still so you can see. It says we've got a bored queen, a birthday wish, an outrageous orangutan. Everything's about to go bananas. And from #1 best-selling children's author David Walliams comes this spectacular story, hilariously illustrated by award-winning Tony Ross. And again, it says here, David Walliams and HarperCollins, which is his publisher, will donate all their profits from this book to comic relief. And this reading is done with permission from HarperCollins College Children's Books, because David Walliams has agreed to not worry about the copyright of his books for people that are supporting children during lockdown. So here we go. David Walliams presents The Queen's Orangutan. I do love his title pages because they're so big and bold. I love that, double pager. There's a lot of information on here. I'm going to have a little, see if I can sort of scan down it as I read. Okay, the Queen was trapped. She was trapped in a palace. It was full of stuff. Mountains and mountains of stuff. Old stuff. Every night she would dream of escaping. The Queen had so much stuff that when it was her birthday, no one had a clue what to give her. But this year, she knew exactly what she wanted. A solid gold, diamond-encrusted stair lift, guessed the prince. No, snapped the Queen. Guess again. A great big bottle of brandy, hiccuped a red-nosed duke. No, said the Queen in a telling-off tone he had heard many times before. A set of porcelain thimbles, hand-painted with all the flags of the Commonwealth nations, guessed the royal baby. No, replied the Queen. Well, what then? For one's birthday, one would very much like, announced the Queen, one's own orangutan. A shocked silence descended before the Duke raised, You want a giant monkey? Orangutans are not monkeys, they are apes, corrected the Queen. You want a giant ape? Yes. Stuffed? No, a live one, please, she replied before returning to her roast beef. Thank you so much. Finally, the royal baby spoke up for the whole family. Great-grandmama, Mama, now why on earth do you want a big beastly orange orangutan? To be my new butler, of course, the Queen announced. The next morning, the entire royal household gathered together to celebrate. Happy birthday! A gigantic cake the size of a paddling pool was wheeled in. Next, the huge oak doors swung open to reveal an orangutan. The great ape lolloped in, clambered up the silk curtains before leaping onto a swinging chandelier. Finally, the orangutan let go and dived into the cake with a giant plop. The Queen smiled to herself. This was turning out to be the best birthday ever. Later, it was time for the Prime Minister's weekly visit to Buckingham Palace. Secretly, the Queen thought the man was an awful bore. He prattled on and on, all about himself all day long. "I am sure to go down in history," he prattled. "Tea, Prime Minister?" interrupted the Queen, "as the greatest leader this country has ever known." On and on and on he prattled as the Queen's new butler wheeled in the tea trolley. The orangutan then proceeded to slurp some tea from the pot, before emptying it all over the Prime Minister's head. "Milk and 2 sugars, isn't it?" said the Queen. That afternoon, Her Majesty was having her portrait painted for the bum-numbing time. "May I say how majestical your Royal Highness looks on this most glorious of days, your royal birthday?" creeped the royal portrait painter. He was the creepiest creep in a long history of creepiness. But this particular afternoon, Her Majesty requested some paint, brushes, and a canvas to be set out for her new butler too. And after a while, the Queen stood up to examine the 2 paintings. "Oh yes, one's orangutan has captured one perfectly. Let's hang this one in the great banquet hall. Yours shall be put in a dark and distant downstairs loo. I thank your Highnessness for her graciousness." That very night, the Queen had to host yet another boring banquet at Buckingham Palace for all the leaders of the world. The Queen had to sit next to the President of the United States of America. Her Majesty found the little man in an enormous pain in the bottom. For a start, whatever delicious dishes the Queen served, the President always demanded a portion of fries on the side, even with his pudding. But tonight, Her Majesty knew just what to do to liven things up. She arranged for her new butler to join in the after-dinner entertainment, dancing with the Royal Ballet Company. And she's enjoying that. Look, she's sitting there having a bit of a giggle. The next morning, the maid brought the Queen her breakfast on a silver tray, as she always did. "Good morning, Your Majesty," she chirped as she opened the huge velvet curtains. Except it wasn't the Queen in the bed. "Oh no!" "Ah!" screamed the maid. It was the orangutan. Meanwhile, outside Buckingham Palace, a figure was swinging across the courtyard on a jungle vine of Union Jacks. "The Queen! Stop her!" But the bearskin guards could not do a thing. The Queen was free. And all the Queen left behind was a letter. "I hereby decree that my orangutan butler should be made king and should be in charge of everything henceforth herewith. Goodbye forever, ever, signed Her Royal Highness." I hope you liked that. It was quite good, wasn't it? And this is a little page of information about Comic Relief and the fact that David Walliams has been part of Comic Relief for quite some time, and he has visited Africa to see where some of the project money is going to. And this little boy, Philip, has played a big part in inspiring David to carry on raising money for Comic Relief as he visited him. And then on the very last page here, it's got a little advert here on the inside back cover for 2 other absolutely brilliant picture books by David and Tony for you to collect. And we've read this one. I might have to get the other one, The First Hippo on the Moon. And then we've come down to this website, which I put on the school website, a link in there last week, for you to have a look at. If you haven't had a chance to do that, please do go and have a look at it. It's really good. It's got lovely activities and one to enjoy. Okay.